Hi, welcome. This is day number 2 with Lucy. And here, the first video I showed the transition process when it comes to starting to bring Lucy into my script, okay, as a follower. So one thing I really show is that there's a big difference between, which world, which script is happening. So for example, if I drew, if I entered Lucy's world, who's already holding power, as a follower to her, so to speak, and then through that power script, what I show very clearly is that oftentimes we can be very deceived when it comes to appearances. We can make certain assumptions about how a dog's mind settles into that power structure and think that we have somewhat of a balanced dog when we don't. So Lucy's problem is, in fact, the fact that she was holding an enormous amount of power. So, but here even showing how the muzzle goes on onto her, it's the same thing with putting it onto her, her accepting the muzzle, okay, but how I'm getting her to accept it through that script, okay. So it takes a little longer because, again, I'm not, I'm not reacting to her, and I'll move forward a little bit, keep her emotion somewhat. I'm not putting it onto her. Now that's good. You see how she's starting to, putting a little more pressure on her mind even when I'm putting her into positions now. So, but the whole issue about using the muzzle, getting onto her, is at first you use a little bit of treats as a secondary motivating agent. Okay, it's important that stays kind of in the background because ultimately leadership is what is going to fix her. So even the dogs that connect after, because she learns that the muzzle has to go on before she can advance to point A, B, C, and D. Well, she's not advancing to those points through as a source of empowerment. It's happening within the context of the follower role. And again, that's where people can be very deceived, thinking the dog is wagging the tail, they're happy to go on the walk. But it's a source of, they're expressing power, okay? So they're basically toll boothing you, okay? So again, the dog can appear very happy and normal, and they're being empowered at the same time. So here for Lucy, it's the same thing. The fix is in bring her into coming into the right relationship with her, okay? So now today, the muzzle, and you'll see that in another video I post here, it's going on, she's accepting it a lot more, easily, okay? It's happening, the process is speeding up because as she's being drawn in, as I'm bring her into my world, to leadership, that's the magnet. So she just, basically, it gets to a point where she's basically almost putting the muzzle on herself, so to speak. She's just going right into it. Okay, that's what's going to start to happen. It's not happening yet, but it's speeding up, okay? She's coming into me now, okay, because I'm building a bridge that way. So that's that has influence over her, okay? So here, it's the same thing now when I'm doing everything. It's all about even her reaction to other dogs, okay? You have to start to bring her into the right script. This thing about, how a dog reacts, how that plays out. Even here when the dog goes down, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? At times, that's how the relational model plays out, so long as you're ultimately building the right bridge, okay? It doesn't mean I'm going to say you're not going down, but it's interesting when you're doing this, if the right script isn't happening, a dog will go down on their own fine, but you try to push them within the context of, again, a reasonable influence into the down, and they'll totally resist it. Okay, just think about that. Okay, it's what script is. It's the structure. It's all about the script of power. Okay, so they'll do it so long as it's within their own framework of power, of how their mind is being, how is the path it's taking. But if you flip that script on its head, upside down, they'll totally resist it. Okay, again, a balanced dog, okay, is going to go into positions under reasonable influence without any issue at all, and then you're not going to have any unwanted behavior issues within the context of that expressive state. So what I show is that behavior issues are a symptom. They're within the framework of expressing that state of mind, they're a symptom of a greater problem, which is the dog's in need of role change. So you can basically, target the specific behavior issues as well, but the goal is to influence the dog's overall decision-making process, okay? So here, what I'm going to show you, and now here even with Lucy, okay, the stress is already coming off her. When she showed up here, she's under an enormous amount of stress on her, okay, and that causes all sorts of problems for a dog. Now here, when I'm kind of checking on her, because here in the board train, she's in and out of the crate a lot, okay? Dogs here just don't sit in the crate, okay? The crate is a role-changing tool, and it helps me sever certain connection points because you need to shrink them back, okay, and sever those, how the dog is connecting dogs within their little power scheme, okay? But then their world expands, okay? That's the whole thing. Is like, it's not meant to, even the crate will fade out, okay, because it's a bridge building tool, okay? That's how it's used within the relational model. But here it's interesting, okay, because as Lucy's going into this follower script, it's taking the stress off her. So I had a funny moment today. I stepped out to go to church, and again, be aware, like when you're doing this, you have to kind of know dogs, even when you're stepping out somewhere. You have to be aware of what script they're in, okay? Because it's like the same thing. When I'm doing board trainings with dogs, they aren't left unattended for a very long period of time at all, okay? Because I'm putting a lot of time and I'm role changing them. But again, I'm aware of their state of mind so that I don't want issues even them being inside crates, okay? Because I'm monitoring how their mind's reacting pretty consistently. But here I was checking on her before I stepped out, and looking at her behavior and just seeing what she's doing in the crate. And so I'm stepping out, just seeing where she, what's going on, and she's on her back with her legs kind of laid out, just in a total relaxed state. Just like, okay, I'm home now, and basically what the message is sending, I'm feeling a lot better. Okay, I don't have to stress because I don't have that roll. I already feel that the grip is loosening on that roll, and now I'm the happiest I've felt in a long, long time. Okay, that's the message. Okay, so the follower role is a happy place to be because it brings them into a state of balance. Okay, so how they respond to relational space, such as crates, it all lines up. So when they're in places that control mind and body, they start to relax. They say, well, Dale owns everything, okay, and I'm in a happy place, and I know Pat Leader is in control of everything. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't break a dog's spirit or drive at all. So if someone was trying to break into my house, they would immediately know that that's not lining up. They will respond the way they should, but it will be within the framework of the follower script. So therefore, they aren't going to put undue, power onto that person. Or here the problem is the dog has power. They'll bite people they're not supposed to bite. Okay, because the owner has no influence over them. So anyway, I just want to kind of lay it out as I do these videos, just kind of be talking to help people understand really in a transparent way, understand the path the dog's mind takes, why you do things the way you do them. Everything lines up. Everything's got to connect. Everything follows the right script, okay, the right path to effect change. Okay, so all interactions. So that's why you can be doing all these different routines with dogs, and if it's not done within the right script, it'd be a total waste of time. And often it is, because people are doing those scripts, like learning theory, beyond the parameters of how a dog's decision-making process is influenced relationally. Okay, and a lot of people won't understand what I'm saying because they're totally sold out to that way of thinking, and they're just basically looking at response and just saying, well, it looks good, it feels good, it must be good, and that's the problem. Okay, you have to put it to the test. Okay, everything connects, and you can't put behaviors in different compartments and try to run this script through and modify behavior that way, because oftentimes it isn't going to work. Okay, you understand? You can change out the imagery, so to speak, or a different association to what the dog associates to the person they're trying to bite by bringing treats online. So something positive now instead, but you're not. It's just like the narcissist. that has no empathy, you're not really fixing anything. Okay, you're just, again, they're still within the framework of devaluing people through power. So that acceptance is based on devaluing them, okay, or something to gain through power. So it's all about fulfillment. So when a dog is fulfilled wrongly, you're going to have the same picture as a balanced dog. Now that's something that it's really important to understand, or try to get a little bit, because that will give you a little more clarity. Because what happens is people don't have good clarity because they're already being devalued by the dog. The dog's in a possessive state, attached to them for the wrong reasons, and then you'll see you'll know something's wrong clearly, right? But from almost like the beyond you, okay, on the kind of fringes of the pack relationship, you say, wow, this is the mess. The dog is going after men, other dogs, resisting a leash, doesn't like to be brought with leadership. And that's the important thing to understand. When the dog's gaining power, they'll reject mechanisms of control that way, okay, through reasonable influence. Okay, that tells you right away you get a problem. And then the expressed states of mind on top of that. Okay, so these dots all connect. So here what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you a bird's eye view. I'm going to be taking Lucy out back in an area here which people show up here. They can't believe the amount of dogs, okay, that are around my neighborhood, which is great for my goals and what I'm doing, because I seem to just, if a dog has a problem with other dogs, within like a few seconds I'm running into another dog, okay, which can be problematic if I'm trying to control, I'm doing everything in a controlled way here, but right outside my house I got a dog on one side, a lab, and then at the back end along my fence line, so the dogs are there but it's totally controlled, they can't get over on my property. I have two more dogs, okay, that will actually, run the fence line, okay, so this is good because one of Lucy's issues is expressing that state of mind power towards other dogs, and oftentimes what that represents is the mind is pulling in, okay, and the mind's pulling back. It's like a holding pattern. So this whole issue of, when you think about fear, it's a combination of distress and a pull-in reaction. It's like the narcissist not wanting their false narrative to be challenged. Okay, so what it is, the dog doesn't want their position to be challenged, and a lot of times it throws them off because they don't have quite a sense of the other dogs, what that is going to do, okay, until they start to get very stressed, because that's why they're kind of standing off until they get a better sense, but that just causes, because they can't control it, okay, because then they can back out of there if they're going to lose power, but they want in there. That's why dog parks are very problematic, the type of reactions you get from dogs, and why looks can be very deceiving. You'll think, oh look, my dog is fine in there, he's playing, he's getting along fine. No, he's being a pal. Okay, you're just not seeing the outright dog fights, because at the physical level, that's not how it goes down. I mean, that's just not how it goes down. so this is what I'm talking about. I'll show you here. I don't know if you can see if the angle dropped down low enough here, but there's Lucy, and Lucy is, there she goes. She is on her stomach here. She's relaxing, okay? She's starting to balance out, because again, the more exposure she gets to the right personality type. Now even here, okay, you see me, people talk about how do you clip a dog's toenails, okay? Lucy's kind of given me allowed me to kind of do this. So here, as I'm pushing on her, see me pushing on her, look at her eyes, okay? Look, she looks like she's about to go to sleep. See that? I put dogs to sleep, okay, on their feet, by bringing them into the follower script. Okay, they'll start to wobble a little bit. The next thing you know, they look half, on their side. But here, this isn't emotion. Okay, this isn't like emotion to touch that way. A lot of people, they promote this, they call it T-touch or whatever foolishness they're promoting. This is about, okay, this is relational. This is about bring a dog truly into the follower script. So here, it purges the mind. Okay, so as I'm touching, I'm pushing in with my fingertips, not too hard, okay, but hard enough that it just kind of, what it is kind of like a nudging effect. It just kind of like taps her mind into the follower script. It kind of gives her a little, acts as kind of like a little bit of a purging effect, okay? And then, look, her paws are here, and if I want to, touch her paw a little bit and then push her again. If you want to get a dog to start to cut their toenails, or whatever you want to do at the vet's office or whatever, now her eyes are shut, okay? Then this is the path to take. It comes through the follower role. Okay, this is me saying, I own the, nail clippers or whatever. It's going to come through me as a follower. Okay, so it's the same thing. Now, for Lucy here, because she's held up so much power, okay, she's held an enormous amount of power. This little bit of touch here makes her feel extremely good. Okay, it really, she was just holding so much power that just the fact that I'm starting, because this is totally taking the stress off her. And notice how she's reacting to the muzzle. Okay, that's the other thing, is within the context of the follower script. Okay, the muzzle just becomes part of her. She's accepting that mechanism of control, okay, where she's not going to bite me, so it becomes like a natural part of her body through the follower script. So when a dog accepts, when they're coming into the follower script, you have to understand the leash, okay, muzzles, everything, they start to balance out, so they will accept those things, okay, easily, okay, it's no big deal. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her up in a second, and when I do bring her up, bring a dog up from a down position or whatever. It's done kinetically, so it means I'm not trying to lift them straight up or undo. I'm just putting a little pressure on them. This is how, when you're moving a dog from one position to another, it's like a nudging effect. You're communicating, okay? So you don't have to use undue force here. She sees a little ant beside her face here. Okay, so here, I'm going to bring her up. So I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of the walk outside. Right, Lucy? And show you. She has this thing about her paws, right? She'll paw at me, like trying to communicate, saying, hey, what are you doing? So here, I'm going to bring her up into, so here, same thing. So if I want to pressure, so basically what I'm saying is communicating, okay, well, I'll go for a walk now. Okay, just put a little pressure on the leash and see she'll start rolling. I'm barely, but it's just steady pressure, okay, and a little more just until it's communication. So I put a little more pressure, then I'll say, Lucy, come on. Okay, lifts, okay, comes up, and then same thing, she's right here beside me. Now, relationally, you want to define this way. You want the dog beside you within the script of the heel position. Now, clarity is very important. When you're working this script, you don't want the dog pulling ahead of you, mind and body. So the position of the body matters because the dog is in the middle of an intervention. Okay, I want to influence change. So position of body matters because that's where the mind is traveling at the same time. So we need to work this script, okay, which means we have to keep bringing her decision-making process within the script itself. That happens through little moments of influence, okay, but not waiting for her mind to blow up. That's why we go outside here in a second. Hopefully you'll see these other dogs come out and you'll see how this kind of works a little bit. I'm going to be holding the camera, so I'm doing this one hand, and just to show you how the little nudging effect works. So we're going to go out, and as we go out here, the camera's going to be off angle for 1 second. And here we go. Now I'm just walking her. This is my backyard. And a little tap tap. Just looking behind her. I'll take her over to the spot. Take her over here. See if she wants to go to the bathroom. And even when you take a dog to the bathroom, you basically have to script it through leadership the same way, just so they go faster. Basically, you want to take them, go just in a bit of a circle motion into the spot that of my choosing, and you circle them around a little bit, and you just keep them in motion a little bit. That's all. Just like sprinkling pixie dust, I call it, because like it's not. I'm not expressing a lot of influence. I'm just keeping her kind of going. And it's almost like you want to bore them to death, but not in that way. In a sense, what you want them to do is the motions line up to what you want. So how you use the leash will change, and it'll kind of jog their memory as to why they're out here. Okay, so it's basically just working the leash the same way for certain things, and then it'll trigger them. Okay, but again, the magnet is through leadership. But again, just kind of let her go out. Like I said, through the muzzle she can sniff and all that, and drink water. Just meant to prevent me from getting bitten. There you go. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off here for the moment, and I'll do another video, but anyway, just kind of gives you an idea how the script kind of goes. But basically, you're doing a lot of different interactions. Now here, we'll take her out to the bathroom, and then she'll, as I do this, she'll encounter other dogs, which she has already several times, and then working to bring her in the script, and then hitting the street, which I'll show you on some other videos here, out in the front as well, going up and down the street. But basically, what you're doing is you're putting more, as role change takes hold, I'm putting more pressure on her mind, okay, which I know she can handle. And it's to create a higher level of relational change. So you have to keep the script going that way, and then eventually what happens is once I create a certain level of relational change, the muzzle comes off, okay, because again, it's just a mechanism of control so I don't get bit while I'm creating relational change, but she'll accept it just fine. And the thing that C understands, the more she accepts it, and she's almost like putting it on herself, then you know that she's being drawn more and more into my world, and that in itself is an indicator that change is happening, okay, because she's accepting the leadership script, okay, so it's all connects together. But you'll know, as you're doing this and you're putting pressure on her mind at a certain level, you'll know when she's there at that point that the diminishment has taken hold through those expressive states at such a level that I can trust her to the level that I know she isn't going to bite me, because I'm starting to have a impact on her. So anyway, we'll do another video here after a little bit.